She woke one morning feeling a little queasy, and this feeling had her a little uneasy. Sorry, Strawberry. So she made her way to go to the doc, thinking he would just give her a prescription or give her a shot. She took a few tests and sat on that cold slab table, and the doctor came in a few minutes later. Well, he says, apparently you're pregnant. What are you going to do? Are you planning to have it? So she went on home to tell her man about their plight, and he actually took it very well, much to her delight. A month or so went by, and she still didn't feel like she oughta. Couldn't keep down anything, no food, not even water. So she made an appointment to go see the doc, thinking he would just write a prescription or give her a shot.
Come on now.
And once again, she took a few tests and sat on that cold slab table, and the doctor came in a few minutes later. The look on his face was very grim, and she asked, "What's wrong? What's happening?" He had tears in his eyes as he gave her an answer. "I'm sorry, my dear, but I'm afraid you've got cancer." "Cancer," she cried, "but how can this be, and what is to come of my pregnancy?" For this kind of news, she wasn't fully prepared, but he only added to her grief when he looked at her and said, "No longer do you have a seed in your womb, but the fetus you are carrying has turned into a tumor. You have a rare condition associated with your pregnancy. It's when the embryo just stops developing and there is no miscarriage, and nor does it pass. It just grows into this cancerous mass." And it was downhill from there. She went from doctor to doctor as each one stuck her and poked her and pressed her and prodded. But through it all, she kept her faith, and every day she'd pray for God's healing grace, and every morning she'd look up at the sky and say, "Lord, please, don't let me die. See, I got a man and 2 kids to look after. Just give me one more chance to hear their laughter." Before long, she had to be hospitalized. She was losing her struggle. You could see it in her eyes. She was pretty, but with her appearance, she didn't care. Her mama had to come to the hospital just to comb her hair. She had MMIs and MRIs, IVs and CATs. The doctor said she needed surgery. Said they needed to perform a DNC and also a laparoscopy so they could get a good look at her ovaries. And then depending on what they would see, would probably perform a hysterectomy followed up by some doses of chemotherapy. And she signed the forms and prepared for her surgery the following morning. She didn't understand what she had gone wrong and started begging God's forgiveness for the things that she had done. But through it all, she kept her faith, and every day she'd pray for God's healing grace, and every morning she'd look up at the sky and say, "Lord, please, don't let me die. See, I got a man and 2 kids to look after. Just give me one more chance to hear their laughter." So later that eve, she began to perceive that maybe this wasn't a part of God's plan, that perhaps her illness might be the devil's hand. So she rebuked Satan and commanded him out of her life and asked the Lord to help her with her fight. She continued her vigil all through the night, right up until it was time for the surgeon's knife. And she lay in the OR whispering and chanting, and all of a sudden her stomach started cramping. She turned her head and spit up something green and then looked at the nurse and said, "I can't breathe." She remembered the nurse giving her an injection and people running in all different directions, and right before she closed her eyes, she said, "Lord, please, don't let me die. I got a man and 2 kids to look after. Just give me one more chance to hear their laughter." She awoke in recovery and looked up at the ceiling, realizing she no longer had that feeling. See, there had been a battle fought for her life, a battle fought between wrong and right, and it was well with her soul. The devil lost his stronghold. And there would be no chemotherapy. She wouldn't even need a hysterectomy. She was released from the hospital the very next day, thanking God for her life that he saved. And to God I give praise, and to him be the glory as I live to tell my own true story. That's that